Yeah, thanks everybody for coming. Thanks, guests. Anyway, this is the Wednesday, March 13th, Council on Aging meeting, and we are recording this live as per the town's rules. And so the first thing we would do would be the acceptance of reports. As usual, Ann got them out the same day and very, very thorough as always. I did not see anything that needed
Oh, good.
changing myself. Does anybody have any comments? If you haven't had a chance to read it, or if you haven't seen it, I'm going to give you a few minutes to review it here. And then I'll ask for a motion to accept it. Everybody's good? May I have a motion, please, to accept it? Carol makes the motion.
Accept the
Report, Secretary.
minutes of our meeting
Mhm.
from Wednesday, today's month,
13.
March 15th, 2024.
Second.
All right. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, there it goes. Amy, you're going to do the treasurer's report today?
Yes. So, let's see, we had no donations and no expenses for the COA gift account, so the balance stayed the same. Food pantry, we had 4 very generous private donations totaling $680. And our expenses for February, that we paid in February were for Demolis Market Basket for stock for $468.26. Otherwise, if you look at our general ledger sheet, we're in really good shape. We're coming down to the, latter part of our year, and we have, out of our $16,000 budget, we have just under $7,000 left, and we have, things to pay, pertaining to the building. We have things to pay, for Tri-Valley, so on and so forth. But so we're in very good shape.
Now, where are you? I just want to
So
follow you on this.
So all right.
Where are you?
General ledger. Now, if you look at the 1, 2, 3, fourth numerical column over,
Okay.
in the middle, it says $6,760.90.
Yeah.
That was the ending balance for our accounts for last month. That doesn't include salaries. Salaries are up above.
Okay.
Okay. So we're in very good shape. We're on track,
Yeah, that has to take us till June 30th. Is that
Yep.
right?
and it will. It will.
Good, good.
Yep. We're meager, $16,000 to run a business. Granted, we have the friend support, we have our grant, we are so frugal. We're so,
I ask you if you've noticed a difference in the prices in Market Basket, because you probably do that shopping.
it's so funny because all right, for example, things like, granted, the cookout was last summer. I usually take the receipts from one year to the next and literally make a copy of them. And when I go to the store, that's what I get. Not a lot. Personally, yes. Personally, I leave the stores and I go, ouch.
Yeah.
I'm like I went in for, 5 things and $100 later.
Yeah.
Wondering, because I think we're all feeling the pinch a little bit, and
Yep.
but I just wondered because Market Basket is supposed to be very reasonable.
I will say this, I had talked to you about things like the pizza parties that we put on, having to increase the costs there because $5 won't cut it. $5 per person used to be enough to cover the pizza, the salad,
Yeah.
dessert, beverage, not anymore.
I don't think anyone should expect to get 2 pieces of pizza and a salad for $5. I think those days are over. 7 You don't want to deal with change.
I don't want to deal with it.
$7.
I'm thinking $7,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
think
I had,
that's reasonable.
and we'll talk to, I had talked to the Friends president about it, who wanted a higher amount. I think $10 is too much to ask,
Yeah, it is.
you know,
It is.
and, so, and I, you know,
We do need to expect an increase. I
well,
think.
it's nice to, because the Friends are paying for entertainment half
That's
the
right.
time, more than half the
And that's
time.
pricey.
And that's pricey. So I don't feel that we should go back to them and say, will you pick up the extra $50 or so, but to increase it to
People make that
$7.
decision whether, the good thing is that the entertainment is usually first. It's
Mhm.
like 11 to 12.
Right.
And then people can make the decision whether they
Right.
want to stay for lunch or bring their own lunch.
Right.
Seriously.
I know the president did also want to make sure that people that wanted to come but couldn't afford to come could do so without, you know, maybe like a scholarship. And we can certainly, you know, if somebody really wants to be there, we can certainly make provision somehow for that. You know,
And how, yeah, but.
we
that
do
would
it
be
discreetly.
tricky.
We
I
do
know
it.
That would be tricky.
We do a lot of things discreetly that you don't know about, you know, like maybe with Tri-Valley it's considered a donation, $3 donation. That's where we have an issue though. Somebody will say, and they did last month, well, it's only $3 for the weekly meals. How come it's $5 for this? Well, now they're going to say, how come it's $7 for this? But that weekly meal is subsidized. It's a $9 meal, which they have federal subsidy of for $6. So our seniors are only paying $3, you know, but it's considered a donation. So if somebody can't do it. No, no, we're supposed to. What Tri-Valley wants us to do is they want us to have a container on the center of each table with envelopes. And so when the senior sits down, they take an envelope and they put their $3 in it so that it can be discreet, you know, well, Mary, you didn't put your money in, you know, so we,
Yeah, where's your bucks?
yeah, so we have somebody.
It's very public when it's in the middle. of business,
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
And everybody watches.
Could have a discretionary amount that they put towards.
It could,
meals, And then who's ever taking the money, if somebody doesn't have the money,
we could.
you can take it from that. kitty.
Actually, that's a good point. And that could possibly come
Paying it
from our
forward. People can
activities.
pay- Or people can pay it forward if they want. There's a lot of that going on
There's
now.
tons of that, yeah.
If you want $7 for the pizza and I happen to give you a 10, well, that's $3 towards
Mhm.
whatever.
And I will say,
During the week or-
we have had a little bit. We have had people though, we haven't yet so far this year, we have had people that have sponsored meals. And like, especially around the holidays, say,
Right,
I will,
right.
and to the tune of $90, when we've had 30 people come for a meal and they've said, I will pick up the meal, which is really,
It's-
kind of
we live in a
generous.
Good town.
yeah. So
That's
anyway,
good.
we're in pretty good shape
It's
financially.
good to know. All right. Is that it for your financial stuff?
Yes.
Okay, director's report, you're still on board here.
You know, I'm just gonna have it interspersed, except with the exception of, you know, as I told you last month, the last couple of months have been working on reports and the statistics, which is time consuming. Plus, we were in the middle of training and assistant statistics. Yeah, we were in the middle of training, you know, a new employee. We were in the middle of training a few new senior workers who are excellent. We've got a really good group that we're sharing with, you know, the other town departments. And we have more people that are interested in the program. So, yeah, so everything else that I've done last month will be interdispersed, but yeah, I did throw at least the statistics page in here. And I want to thank you all, those of you that responded to my request to review the lengthy annual report and make suggestions. They were all excellent suggestions. They were incorporated. I didn't attach it here because it's another 3 or
Right, I
4
know.
pages.
But this was very helpful because I was confused myself
And
with the
I,
numbers.
so I was using the state's model and I'll tell you, I've been in this business 30 years, but I've been a director for 16 of those. And it's taken me a long time to wrap my brain around the way the state wants to see those numbers. And they do look at duplicated and unduplicated. And this, if this simplifies it and it shows what we're doing. It shows, you know, how much the need is, I guess, or the involvement is. So
I suggested that Amy keep all that information about the duplications and so forth, in case she ever has to go before a board or anything and
Right.
explain this. She has the information, but it just confuses me.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in my senior center system, with the stroke of a key, I can pull up that alternate confusing information and I can pull up this. So I have it. I certainly have it. But the state wants that confusing information.
And that's okay.
But so
Something about the state.
this is a calendar year. So this is a calendar year. This is what really just kind of boosts me up. This is a calendar year, but what they want is a fiscal year. So they get their July through June report.
And this
So,
is January through December.
right. I wish one or the other would make a decision where they want to be, probably more calendar year, but it is what it is.
Calendar represents the people more, I think. We look at things calendar rather than fiscal.
And what I explained too, I think just briefly at the Friends meeting, we are getting back up to our numbers. Our numbers prior to the pandemic, where you see total people served, we were up over 12,000 prior to the pandemic. And then of course we dipped way down. And so last year we were at 7,000 and change. And now we're up to, almost 10,000 this past year, almost to 10,000. So
Closing down.
it's getting, I think people are coming out. They're not as worried about being around other people. So I'm very encouraged at the numbers.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Okay, now Donna's not here for the Tri-Valley report. I noticed she's posted a couple of things, so that's good.
Yeah, so, and I wanted to, because she and I spoke about the transportation issue, she did come back and confirm that, yes, Tri-Valley has used up their fundings. I wish they would do things differently. What I wish they would do is they would allow 2 rides per person a month or 3. But what they're doing, it's like unlimited rides. And so when the money's gone, the money's gone. And now they're waiting for funding. And our riders are hearing through the grapevine that, they're working on it. I don't know if it's at the state level, that the funding will come through, but Donna was able to confirm that. But yeah, I did notice she was sending out, and
We're sending out stuff.
she was sending out some of the stuff too that we've been want to feature in our newsletter, and we do from time to time, about the caregiver support programs, because there's funding there for caregivers for things and things that they need to do what they do. But
Well, last month too, we talked about if we had to pay like a Lyft driver or an Uber, I think you had mentioned. And we were saying there really wasn't a lot in this area. Well, there's a girl that's posted twice already. Her name, she goes by Cat, C-A-T. Her name's probably Catherine or something. Cat to Sony. And there's been people who she's driven to the airport and stuff, and they're singing her praises. And I think I sent you,
you did.
her name.
I mean, I don't remember, because I would remember Tassoni, Joyce Tassoni and her family, but
I
yes.
think this is Tassone.
Oh, okay,
But,
okay. Oh, that's right, right.
She has been giving people rides in the Mendon Upton area. She does this. So anyway, I just figured I'd just pass that along in case we have to give somebody a ride and we don't know how to get them.
Now, I will tell you, Blackstone reached out to me. Blackstone is very good to us, that they run a lot of the driver trainings, and they make sure they include us because they know we're small, but they have quite a few drivers. Well, they reached out to me this past month and said, Amy, they've been doing like 6 rides to Boston a month, and they're their director is beside herself, because they usually do like 2 a year, 1 every 6 months, which is
Just
kind
picks
of
up the van the whole day.
exactly. But they happen to have at least 2
Yeah, well,
vehicles.
one of them is paid for by, I think it's either Kimball or someone like that.
Okay.
There's somebody who's picking up the
Yeah.
tab.
So it's happening. It's, more people are, and people are having their primary care people in Needham and Wellesley, and that's really hard for everybody. So anyway.
Okay, Friends Mendon Elders report. It's all yours, Susan.
Well, thank you very much. So it's pretty, simple this month. I have to say, we had our officers' reports that were given, including our treasurer's report, our secretary's report, the COA report, and the director's report. Along with that, we had committee reports from the Friends Lunch Bunch, Sunshine, and Travel. And all were very positive and accepted, and looking forward to more details. As far as new business, we currently have about 46 members. I'm saying about because a few more came in at the meeting. So we're approaching 50. We have been up as high, I guess, of 80 something in the past. So Carolyn's working really hard, beating the drums to get this higher and get some more members and get some more interest, especially with the vote coming up at the meeting in May. Carolyn also created a survey that we handed out at the meeting to ask people of their interests in programs, but also to ask them about their skill set, so that maybe we can take advantage of some people's hidden skills. And then we, again, we were continuing to Phil and Peggy were great, continuing to, create an awareness about the community and senior center.
Yeah, Phil's pretty much taken the lead on that. I have to give him
Yep, he's
kudos
doing
because
a great job.
Yes, he has.
A great job, very well spoken, very represents the project just beautifully. And there are going to be 2 open houses to educate people, one in March, one in April. And Phil and Peg also stressed the need for people to attend town meeting on May 3rd. Unfortunately, you can't vote ahead,
No,
which
and
is,
there's no absentee either.
there's
You
no
have to show up.
absentee vote. I know we're away that weekend, so that's very
this is life,
discouraging.
yeah.
But anyway, and we had to move our meeting in April up a week, so it was scheduled originally April 8th. It is now April 1st.
Oh.
And I think that's it. There are a few people here that were at the meeting. Yes.
What are the dates of that
Oh.
open house in March and April?
It's funny because I was.
The
I wrote it down
22nd,
Because
Friday, the 22nd, and then Wednesday, the 24th. Yeah, that's 1 PM at the senior center.
It's 1 to 2,
April is when?
24th,
24th.
and that's 6:30
6:30
to
PM.
7:30. And I spoke to the chief last night and I asked him for a police presence to help cross the street if needed, just to handle traffic. And also, when I was coming here today, I noticed that
The
there
big
was a
truck?
giant thing across the street. It looked like something, like they were parking something there. I was thinking, we're eventually gonna lose that parking capacity.
We do from time to time when because I think they lease out that space, that parking lot.
Yeah. But anyway, he
Yep.
said he'd give us a police presence on those 2
Okay.
dates.
Will the architect be at those?
24th?
I don't think so.
March 22nd.
1 PM.
1 to 2 and
1 to 2, and April 24th, 6:30.
7:30. What were you saying?
Will the architect be at those meetings?
No, it'll be
No.
Phil and I and whoever else from the committee wants to be there. Yeah. But yeah. Okay.
So I think that's a summary of what we did in an hour and a half.
No,
And it sounds like you've decided on June 8th is the date for the yard sale.
Yes, that was.
That's what I actually have seen that posted places, so I assume so.
Yep.
I haven't been part of any, final
It's
discussion
been
on.
put on Facebook, so.
Yeah, and in the, yeah.
Usually, depending
Who
upon
makes
when,
that final decision? Because I haven't been part of
the
it.
friends.
Of the friends, okay.
It's usually, isn't it usually the same day as the strawberry?
That's right,
festival?
that's
So I
right.
don't
And the
know.
library does a book sale. It's like get
Have they already
everybody in
chosen
town.
their dates?
The community involved.
I have it down as the
I
8th
don't
too,
know.
with a rain
Yeah.
date of the
They
9th.
usually piggyback
Yeah,
on the
right.
friends.
And I've
Oh,
read
really?
that. I think I even read it on Monday, part of Carolyn's report.
Mhm.
So that's what my understanding is. It's the 8th with the 9th as a rain date.
I was going to make a suggestion
Oh.
to you and Carolyn, just to see what you thought about it, but could we perhaps, I really think that we really have to get the seniors out to this, to the town meeting. I mean, this is,
There's no question.
yeah, Amy did the numbers.
Their shirts on.
Well, that's, as long as they're wearing something, that's all I care about. We don't want to. Myself included,
Well done.
totally too.
I missed that joke, but
Was a joke. Anyway, I was thinking, Amy got the numbers the other day and we're up to like 1775, people 60 and over on the
Oh,
population.
okay.
Could we maybe set up some kind of a phone, thing where you could have someone call another senior? Everybody knows another senior that's their age, or a couple of people. If we could maybe set up, some kind of a phone chain where we could remind people of that date
Well-
and have them not go because they don't have a ride. Let's try and see if we can minimize the number of people who
Right.
are missing it.
So we should organize rides and then communicate about it.
Well, you need to know how many rides you'd need. We
Sometimes you
did
don't
talk-
know that.
we
It's
did-
like voting day. Voting day,
Mhm.
you never know what kind of rides you need. It's sort of people raise their hand even that morning.
But voting is all day. This is a
Right, 1
set
hour, 2
amount.
hours.
Well, I don't know.
And it's at night.
It could be up to 33 things on the warrant. And I did ask Mike Goddard last night, and Elena was also Zooming in. if they could put us kind of like towards the beginning of the,
Right.
of
I
the
will, I
warrant.
will advocate for that if I have a chance.
Thank
I
you.
know there are certain articles that need to go early, but I
Yeah.
think this one, I think especially since there are other articles.
that are
that
attached
like-
to it.
Right,
It's a ripple. We're gonna
So-
affect 3 others at least.
yeah, so I will.
For those who haven't been following it, we need a 2/3 majority to pass. And then 2 weeks later, it has to go
May 14th.
for, but
again.
that's just whatever is the higher number. In other words, it's
Yeah.
not, the 2/3 is, we gotta get that 2/3.
That's all,
And it starts at 7. Now, yes, it is staying a little bit lighter at night, which is great, but there are a lot of seniors who are fearful about driving. And they may drive there in the daylight, but coming home, if the meeting goes a couple of hours, if there's 33 things on the warrant, that's gonna make it for a
Late-
long night.
late.
So I was.
Is there a reason why the town won't allow voting ahead? They can't change any
So
regulations
I
for
think,
that?
I think that that's a state issue about being on the town meeting model for but I mean, we can look into that, but it would be a process, certainly. Like,
Be
it's
next
in
year.
our bylaws that when we have the town meeting, so even that, like, even just changing the day and the time of the meeting is complicated. So like, but yeah, yeah, as far as I know, like I haven't heard of any cases of town meetings having like a separate meeting. And I think, it's that.
And isn't part of that because if they make a change in the warrant, if you've already voted for something and then somebody says, well, I'm gonna reissue this in different wording, then their vote is useless because they're not voting on the new
It's true, it's
changes.
true, right, right, because it's all motions and then,
Yeah.
right, seconding and so forth, so, right. And there
Well,
are
our plan is
sometimes
to have-
amendments.
Yeah. there's a
Our
lot.
plan is to have the architect there that night,
Oh, that's good.
for a lot of
These
the
are-
hard questions.
So I wondered about, it's public record who has voted in the past and who's gone to town meeting, and we could ask the town clerk for a list of, who's voted at town meetings and get an estimate of how many, like, people we should aim to have show up. for
think
an
that's a good
expected,
idea.
Like,
Did you
and
get that down? Ann?
potentially,
What?
Okay, she was saying we could petition the town clerk to get a
Is that
list
on?
of the
it's just,
people
yeah, so
who
just,
vote at town meeting,
it's.
just to get a number,
It's public
approximate
record.
number.
I mean, for that matter, we can even see who
Yeah.
is over 60 and votes and make sure, like, we could send them a postcard saying, something we can, it is public record who votes in,
Good day.
not what they vote, but who shows up to vote at town meetings or at elections.
And we're gonna have 100 signs to put out.
Okay,
So maybe we could target some of those people and say, gee,
it's true. Could,
what,
right,
what do you think about putting a sign in? Yeah, we know that you go to the meetings all the time and
right.
we'd like you, would you be interested in putting a sign up?
You know what's happening?
going too
You're going-
fast.
No, you're going out of order and, like, what
That's
does
right.
it,
Yeah,
this is like off the cuff.
Oh,
talk.
Let's-
you're
let's
right,
finish
you're
first.
right.
Talking
yeah.
about is good. It's
Good
important, but it's
Good point, Dave.
not following the.
Right, it's not
The
right,
agenda.
It's not in the agenda
Yeah,
about
no,
this
we're not
topic.
on the
I was
agenda. I was
listening,
listening
yeah.
intently, but I wasn't writing it down.
Okay, we'll
I
cover it,
suppose- I
we'll cover it again when we get to it.
But I suppose it's because our backs are getting against the wall.
Yeah.
I
So-
think, right.
When you petition the town clerk to get a list of the
Mhm.
people who vote, then you mean, if you call them up for a
Well,
reminder?
Elena was also saying you can look and see if there's 60 or over and. you know,
Right, so we can request a voting list, like a voter list for
And then
Mendon.
decide what to do.
Right,
Yeah, once we get the data, we can figure it
All
out.
right.
Right.
By the way, I think it's okay to have this discussion because it was brought up in your report. So
Yeah,
there's no
right.
reason.
so that's how we got there.
That's what triggered it.
Right.
Target a younger population. too?
We want to target
Oh,
all of them.
everybody,
I mean,
we
not
do.
60 and over.
We
maybe
do.
50 and over.
But I
Right.
think the 60 and over, we could send, and I don't want to take the time doing this, but the postcard idea to tell people they can get rides by calling such and such a number or something, but
Mhm.
follow through on that, service.
You mean utilize.
60 and over are the ones that usually need it.
Not
So,
necessarily the van, but it'd be nice to give friends kind of the credit. I mean, actually, if you need a ride, call the Friends of Mendon Elders, whatever that number we decide.
yes.
To,
If they-
rather than, the senior center or town entity, the Friends
Could
of
be your
Mendon
neighbor that
Elders.
needs a ride. Could be your neighbor.
So we have two things we can do with our database system. We can, do you know how when we had snow issues this winter, we can send out a phone call from there. We can also send out emails from
Right.
there.
That's right. You could
And-
send a phone call just reminding them to vote.
And right now we're working on the April newsletter, so I need input from you or Phil, or both of you on what you want us to put in there.
Date on that one, 15?
Now, it's like, yeah, I'd say hopefully we'll be finishing it up next week. So next Monday latest.
Maybe when we get together, maybe Monday, we can figure it out.
And there's not a ton of space, but if you want it to, it will certainly be directed towards that informational meeting. We can talk about, annual town meeting, talk about the vote.
Maybe have some renderings we can throw in there on a smaller scale.
There's not a lot of
What
room.
if we do an insert?
Let's not spend the money right
The
now.
Friends have already asked me to do an insert of that.
Yeah, that would be too, yeah.
I mean, and that insert can wait too. So
Carolyn writing something?
what's that?
Is Carolyn?
I don't know. She generally like writes a small
Okay.
paragraph, which is nice. It's nice and folksy, but I will say this. I gave Carolyn Kevin Rudden's survey that we did several years ago. It was extremely extensive and, informative, well received. And so from that, Carolyn obviously pulled together these ideas, which are good. And some of those are ideas that I use. I've capitalized on people's, talents over the years, but that could certainly wait. That doesn't have to go into this issue. That could go into,
Yeah, we could wait until after the vote.
yeah, we could wait. We
Spend
could
the space on the vote.
put that into the June issue,
All right,
because right now too, the Friends need to focus on their yard sale too,
that's June.
right?
We got to get through May 3rd. Okay, all right, I'll move on then.
Okay.
But thank you, Earl, because we were discussing it in the Friends of Mendon Elders. Okay, old business, food pantry update. Amy.
I think, Ann and I don't, Ann, do you want to speak to the food pantry at all?
Nothing new, still.
Yep, going along?
You got I made a list of things that were
Yeah.
low.
Yeah, and she put it on Facebook. Alana put it on Facebook.
She did. Yeah, so and we'll choose our date now that daylight savings is here.
Okay,
Thank you,
take care.
Carol. Take care. No, food pantry is going very well.
Oh, I've got those.
Okay,
Oh.
all right, moving on then. Senior Center expansion update. Phil and I will kind of go back and forth, but I'll let him take the lead. We just met last night.
Yeah, I'm just gonna walk through the agenda that we had last night to give you a good update. We reviewed the article, we're in the positions, the attorney has the article. We're gonna have that at tonight's meeting, hopefully listed. If not, I'm gonna have an
Sorry.
article.
Tonight's the selectmen's meeting, is right?
I didn't hear what you said was gonna be done. When you first started.
The,
Gotta be done by the 14th of this month. The attorney was given the article verbiage to make sure it's correct. They followed up on that, the chief. Everybody's aware it's coming, but if necessary, I'll have a position piece of paper to say, put that in there, if it doesn't show up tonight. But that's going forward for the $13.2 million. Underneath that, there are two articles at least from the Conservation Committee or Conservation Preservation.
reservation.
One is for a consultant to do a study and design for walking trails that are ADA compatible, which is Northborough. It cost them, I think, close to $400,000 to build them. But that is the CPA funds. We should start using that for the people because we all pay that. It's not a new
Right.
money.
This money we already have.
They're going to only ask for $3,000 for the study to design it. So that's a small lift. That's going to be there. There's also for the recreation, there's $208,000 for, again, funded by CPA funds, which we've all paid for already. It's for two shuffleboard,
Pickleboards.
two pickleballs, two shuffleboards, one bocce, and one basketball court.
Right,
Debate was brought up last night where to position that on the lot to make sure there's enough parking in the right places. So we'll extend that out to our architect.
and that the noise doesn't interfere with what's going on at the center. I mean, it's a 22 acre lot. And there is other stipulations on the land for perhaps some businesses, some houses. But we want to have it so that, it's well lit. And we were talking about outdoor cameras and things like that. But if we have an activity going on in the center, let's say you're doing yoga, you don't want to hear ba-bum, ba-bum, ba-bum.
You you could always book the pickleball courts for that.
Yes.
Well,
Put your scarecrows out there, like.
actually, from the court standpoint, Dan's volunteered. There's a system in town to reserve courts.
Yep.
So he's offered that system that he would manage that, and we could block out times for seniors. So the pickleball courts could be blocked out for such, so we could do that. The basketball court, we could probably block that as well. But at the end of the day, we want to make sure that do it correctly and far enough away if we can.
Mhm.
That'll be a request to the architect and to DNL, the land surveys, to kind of figure out how to do that. We went through, to note, we approved spending an additional $5,000 for Petrovic.
The architect.
We're still 5,000 roughly under our budget from the town meeting. We think it's money well spent. We'll get some artistic renderings, which will be nice to display around, but also give us files that we can copy and paste into other documents. It gives us 20 hours additional consulting for frequently asked questions if we need them, and also gives us a presence at the town meeting of he and John. So that $5,000 I think is well spent,
Mhm.
and we're still under budget. We requested 35,000, will come in 30,400 and something. So we're using that money. The other big things, and I think the biggest thing we just spent most of the time is actually around the communications piece that Peg's leading.
Yeah, we just,
Printed materials and things like that, and
Dan helped us do the information to put on the town's webpage, including the 2 meetings. Mark Bucchino, who is from the Lions Club, they run that marquee that's up in Founder's Park. Unfortunately, they are having their own celebration, which is, so having that, we're not able to have access to that board until their event is over. And so it's going to miss the first open house in March. But he'll post it for a week for the second one in April, and that's the evening one. Amy has talked to Tyler from ABMI about having it videotaped. So he's promised for the first one.
Yeah, the second one he hopes, but he's not sure. And I will contact him. I will give him Lonnie's contact information, so Lonnie can get access to that recording.
typically you'll do that in business where you have a question person. As long as he manages that board, the questions coming in, the chat. We can do the live stream, the recording of ABI, the presentation, and Lonnie could raise those questions for the audience that's remote.
But
So that should work out nicely, I think, if I've seen it work before.
Are we able to provide rides for either of these open houses for people?
we didn't discuss that, and I myself personally, I couldn't volunteer for that.
No, you
Yeah.
and I would be busy.
I just couldn't.
I realize that.
No, I don't know. I mean,
I'm just wondering
there's an
if
interest
that's-
and
if there's a way we could offer that. I would assume most people get to the senior center the way they need to, but we're trying to promote, awareness. So I just wonder-
well, I think that the people who are already coming to the center
can get there.
can get there because they get there now. either
Right,
with a van
especially
or
the
with-
daytime one.
Well, that's the first one coming up.
Right.
Now, for the second one, see, we've already had our friends meeting. We just had it on Monday. So, but the next friends meeting, April 1st, you could probably ask that question, at nighttime, or would people need rides if they were planning on coming?
I think you're gonna see a demographics difference.
Oh, I think we will too,
Get
because
the
the
working people
yeah.
coming the 6 o'clock evening one. And that's good. That's the sweet spot we want to get. So,
Also for communications, this is the last thing I'll say on the topic then, is that Karen, she runs the Mendon bulletin page.
Right.
Karen Slattery Mead runs the Mendon page, and she also posts to the Mendon Upton moms and dads.
Yep.
And the Facebook page at the senior center. I've been kind of monitoring that and managing that. But all of this information has been on there, and every event, even Monday's Friends meeting, she took a picture, she posted it, and I posted it. And we've got to get your husband, John, someone's got to show him how to do that.
Yeah, he's trying to, it's,
I think-
somebody should contact him
Well,
because
Sue
not
Carlson,
me.
no, Sue Carlson had said that
She
she knew
would.
how to do it,
Yeah, so they need to connect.
because the more exposure we get,
Yeah, and I sent out that email,
yeah, you did, and.
but it needs to be more tightly threaded.
And Dottie probably knows, but she's away right now.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, go
I
ahead.
assume for those two meetings you're talking about, we can obviously use the signage that we have out here in front of the senior center.
Oh, yeah, but open house, yes. Amy planned on doing that.
Yep.
Post that they were open.
Yeah, Tom has just one liner, but we'll update that.
Where's that gonna be posted?
On our bulletin board
Oh,
outside the senior center.
Right, right.
Tom wants an electronic board in the new center.
Yes and no. Yes and no. And actually, I want one that's classy. I mean, where we stay in Maine, in the Old Orchard area, they have them for the high school, they have them for the fire station, the police station, but they're kind of tacky, they're kind of neon lights and,
We'll get it.
hopefully they'll.
We'll get there, Amy. You can have the.
Something like down in New York City, in Broadway,
Times Square.
yeah, Times Square.
Okay. Did you want to say anything else about it?
Just the signs, I think you were talking about it before, but
We ordered 100.
we're gonna get 100 signs.
And we liked your idea, Elena, which is
Yeah.
have something like after a couple of weeks so that
Okay.
they'd see it again.
I
Elena liked you liked the Carolyn's idea with the
We need a bigger
bigger
boat.
boat and the
Okay.
fish stuff.
I have a little like mock-up of an idea.
Excellent.
So
Oh.
I'll show it to you, just,
Yes.
like Phil, put the little, planted the seed in my mind. So I'm like, so I mocked something up.
So if you have a sign, you know how the sign,
Yeah.
and then people say, oh, it's the same sign, I've seen it.
Right.
But after a couple of weeks, you might have the shark, taking a bite out of
Yeah, that-
something.
Yeah, I'll show you just.
Tell us about this good thing.
Hang on.
She's prepared.
Yes,
Talk about
she's
that.
been
And it's not, so,
Very
you know,
welcome
it's
to
not, finished, but, it was the idea,
she's laughing.
He's looking.
sorry,
That's great.
that,
Oh, yes, for the Mendon Senior and Community Center, we need a bigger boat, okay? When I see the shark, I see him coming.
Yeah, I see.
Sweet.
so, yeah, and my thought was like, we could make a little cutout shark fin to add to the top, but, closer to the meeting, I'm just imagining that like kids would notice that and
Something
ask, like,
eye-catching,
why,
yeah.
like,
I remember
why is there?
Carolyn had made the spin
Right,
hats.
yes.
Actually, that was Paula.
That
Paula.
was.
Paula Minotti did that?
made me think
It
of
was
it. It's
Paula.
a- it's
Oh.
a,
And me, and Dottie and Diane.
Maybe we have a crafts thing again.
There was
you know?
4 of us cutting them out.
I thought it was, I thought it was a really
I like that. That's very
clever
good.
I do too.
idea. So like, I just, I thought it would be,
It is clever.
fun to
It's
Yeah,
play
and it's
along
bright,
with
it's
that.
eye-catching, it's
So this was
bold
just-
writing that you could read.
So that was
Yes.
what I was trying to go for,
Yes.
like, how much text do we need? And unfortunately, Mendon Senior and Community Center is a lot.
It's a mouthful.
Like, but I mean, cause like we could just go, vote yes on one and then.
No, I think, I like that.
I like that too, because.
But I think this is like, I'm imagining that if we have these in neighborhoods where this is gonna be where like people walk and they see these, and so, I don't know.
Why do you have May 14th on there? We can vote twice?
Oh, town meeting and the town election.
have to
We
vote the
have
ballots.
We have
Oh,
to
right,
vote,
okay.
we have to vote twice.
Right,
Like,
And
okay.
what they said last night that I didn't know is they said if it fails, the 2/3 fails.
On the 3rd.
No, it's
Yeah,
the
the
other way.
third. No,
No,
May 3rd?
I loved it. I loved
if
it.
it fails on the 3rd,
But
but
passes
but
at the
passes
best.
2 weeks later,
Oh,
you
they
have
ha-
the right to go back to town
I
meeting
think, right, I
again.
think that we,
That's,
right.
I think that's the way it went.
Yeah, and I think in that case, we'd have to call another town meeting, which, you know, it's a process,
I
but
know that, but it's.
but there's a
you can do
precedent,
it,
I
yeah.
believe. So, yeah.
Yeah, that makes me think I could vote either one,
Ah,
Yes,
because
I
I can't
see.
vote on the third. and
but
I'm
you
very
can vote on the
sensitive about
14th.
it.
Yes, you're right. You're
right. Well,
Right.
so like, but if
And
there's
I don't know
another
how
way,
you can
if there's another way, that-
clarify.
You have to vote twice.
right.
I know, but if you can't vote on the third,
Right.
and like
you-
I said,
you-
I'm very sensitive to that because I can't.
Right.
It makes me think, oh gee, well then I can vote on
But
the
you still
14th.
can
But
vote
that's
on the
correct.
14th.
But you have to.
Yes,
But I
oh, we
need to
want
vote
you
on
to.
the third too.
Well,
How
you
do you
have-
You can't.
If it fails on the
can't-
third.
Yeah.
you vote for whichever, like, either or both, they count. I mean,
Well, maybe that's what you put there, like
No,
somehow
no.
both
It's
votes
more than-
will,
like
Too
on a-
confusing.
both
Too con-
votes will make a bigger boat.
well, I think, right. I don't know if all of it can fit on the site,
No,
but
I
you're
realize
right, you're
that,
right.
yeah.
But like on other things, we need to get the word out that we need people at both the town meeting
Right.
and at the election. And if you can't come to the town meeting, we still need your vote at
That's
the
right.
election and vice versa.
Yes, because I did not know that. I wasn't aware of that till they said that last night.
Right.
That you kind of get a second chance at it.
But like
But you don't want people to know that.
Elena said, you have to,
We
you
have
have
to
to
call
call
on
another
the
town
third.
meeting.
Right, it has to go back to town meeting. So it's complicated, but right, we need, the best thing is for people to show up on May 3rd, as many people who can. I know. And,
My thoughts about the sign,
mm,
before I lose it, I think the sign should say May 3rd.
okay.
We want them to go to the town, and if we want to,
Uh-huh.
get a paste over,
And
Oh,
with one
okay,
fourth,
yeah,
with
actually, that's-
14, with
Sticker and
14.
say-
Okay.
Good idea.
again.
Yeah.
14th.
That's-
meeting.
Good idea.
Yeah, so that's true. We could have the sign have one, one date and then slap the number on.
Good idea.
14th over it, right?
Yeah,
I like that, and when I ran for office years ago, saying, I need your vote was a really powerful thing when I would like go door to door to people. And you just said that, we need your vote on May 3rd.
Mhm.
So when you take out May 14th, maybe somewhere just say, we need your vote on May 3rd.
Mhm.
Because it makes it more personal.
Mhm.
that was the expression. Please help us. Go up.
Yes, make it a personal appeal to,
That's really, I like that design. That's good.
yeah.
It is nice.
I
Not
have
bad
other,
for
I have
two
other
days.
versions of it also, but anyhow, sorry, with playing around with,
Hey, Peg.
an outline.
Communication
like,
team,
She has enough on her plate.
That's okay.
No,
We all
no,
do.
it isn't. No.
We all do.
Anyhow, yeah, so I'm happy
She's
to
still
talk
working.
more and like I have the design software, so like it's fairly easy to like mock these up. And I know the printer who I worked with for my signs, he does full color now. So like it used to be that you had like signs in the past, you had to sort of pick like, your two colors, and it was more if you wanted three colors, but now they're full color. So
Good.
that opens up a lot of
Progress.
possibilities.
All right, good.
Good.
Nice ideas. Good to hear that. The fiscal year 25 budget, meeting with the FinCom on 3/27 and the select board here.
Peg and I are gonna be, yes, I'm gonna hopefully meet with Jody next week, she had offered her services when I first met with them. She adapted like, our budget slightly, like we pay a small fee to have an annual membership in the I want to say it's LPI, but it's not, but to show movies at the center. Every center has to pay it. So she did things like she took that out of dues and meetings and put it into, another category that was more appropriate. So she moved things around slightly, but she did tell me that when it came time to like discuss the need for increasing hours for our assistant's position, she talked to me about different ways that we might want to approach that. And so I'm going to meet with her hopefully next week to just kind of have a little bit of tutorial, so,
That'll be a crucial piece to get going, because that stages it for the operational expenses the following, because the question keeps coming up, and I'm going to take your budget. Talk to Mike Petrovic based on his knowledge of sizing buildings and come up with an operational projection for the new building.
yeah, so.
So
My
that,
God, was saying that's important to put that.
yeah, Mike's a good devil's advocate. He does have.
We should probably do a mock thing before one of the meeting things and.
Yeah, yeah, interesting enough, those meetings will flush a lot out because the numbers won't be that big, and you can always recover if you're quick on your feet.
Now, that's the same night as the Lions, so I have to bow out with the Lions. You're gonna go for the Lions.
I'll do Lions.
Yeah, and I'll be with Amy with the budget. meeting.
Now, if the Lions have a big fundraiser for the center, which won't be for this project, but for future, we can hang their plaques in one of the rooms? Is that
Sure.
what it comes- that?
They've had their eye on one of the rooms in the basement, the lower level.
So, while we're meeting with them, I'll say it's a possibility based on how much you raise.
Well, but as it is right now, we have two plaques. We have two plaques dedicated to them, for our seniors of the year. So when we first walk in, Lions Club, they're both right there, very supportive of us.
No, you're not.
All right, annual report statistics, you gave us that. You-
Yep, that's attached.
It's already
That's
attached,
attached, yeah.
and we had already, made our comments on it.
Yep.
Okay, volunteer appreciation, it looks like I'm the only one here for that, for the committee
Okay.
meeting. But, go ahead. I know, Amy, to me.
She always forgets to include me.
Not a good
I gotta
day,
say,
you're
I'm-
here.
I'm very protective of these volunteers. They they do my bidding. No, they work very closely with me. And so, yes, I'd like to at least be part of that. But,
You are.
I know, but you keep forgetting to say that.
Personally, I don't think it's necessary. I think it's just assumed. We work with you on everything.
Yeah. So we do have our entertainer, his apologies there. I will tell you, between waiting on, I don't know why it took so long for him to get his notification from Cultural Council. We had another entertainer, the one for May. She got hers like January, 20th. He didn't get his until last month.
This
And
is Roger Tinknell.
Yeah,
and we've had him in
so
the past.
I kept emailing them. I tried phoning, and I don't think they had updated the information on their website, on the town website. But anyway, did finally get his letter. And so we've got him on board, and it's a kind of a campfire theme. Peg and I
Yes.
had reviewed. It's going to be fun.
We
It's-
actually ordered some of the stuff
Yeah,
last year. When
yes.
we first decided to do it, we went on Amazon. And, did you see, I said we,
Yes.
me,
And me.
Amazon and found plates
yeah,
and
yeah,
decorations and stuff like
Nice
that.
job, Peg.
Yeah.
But anyway, Amy and I talked about it. We ordered it. We've already got that stuff. It is a campfire thing and,
Sing along. It'll be fun.
and it's like, 35. Is that what we're going for?
Yep.
And how many do we actually have?
Well, I'm going through that now. We'll talk about that on the side because we had 62 volunteers last month, but some of them fell short of the
Yeah,
2025 for whatever
which-
reason.
Which brings me to another topic that I did talk to Amy about separately and, we'll take a look at the numbers, but I was thinking that there have been members of this expansion committee, which we've been meeting since last August, which is when 2023. We're meeting at least twice a month besides subcommittees and it's been time consuming for a lot of people. Now, many of us who are on that committee are already here and already going to the thing, either working it or being a guest there. So I was thinking, depending on the numbers, did we want to extend an invitation as a volunteer to those people?
You could. One of the things, just on a side, is what I was planning to do is after the 14th vote, I was just gonna have an open house with everybody too.
Well,
One
then,
way or the other.
that's fine. And Amy did remind me that in December, we did invite people over for some light refreshments after our meeting there.
Yeah, well, I was thinking of doing it at my house rather than it.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's absolutely fine.
It's different though. You're right. It's
Well, I'm just thinking, we talk about people who volunteer for the center. People are giving their blood, sweat and tears in this committee. So, anyway, we'll go by the numbers and see what you have.
Okay.
Some people are still working. They may not even come, but.
PINCKNELL and CK. Is that right? TINCKNELL. PINCKNELL. Roger Tink now.
Anyway, we're still working on the menu. We're talking about a possibility like chili, cornbread.
Yeah.
You know,
Campaign.
it's not going to be an elaborate thing. It's just a simple thank you, but it's an acknowledgement of, we wouldn't be able to operate without these people.
And I'll tell you, that people had a lot of fun last year. Unfortunately, last year is going to be a tough one to top. People are still wearing their cowboy hats.
Right.
And they want to know what we have for hats this year.
It's still primarily, but it's gonna be like chili, cornbread. We were thinking of maybe something like Samoas or something like that for
Oh, yeah.
dessert. We can have a bowl of pretzels on the table and call them twigs. I mean, I've got a few ideas in my head too. I love Pinterest. I love
Yeah.
Pinterest. Anyway, so, and it's a new date because with Roger, he had to change the date
Yes.
with us, and we wanted him there. So it's April 10th. So that is a change, and the new date is April the 10th. Okay, anything else on that, or can we
Nope,
move on?
I think we're-
Okay, new business, new programs, Amy?
Yeah, so the VNA that we have monthly through the Board of Health, our nurse Nancy is wonderful. She told me how she's doing a diabetes program at, I want to say, I think it's Northbridge or Uxbridge, at Northbridge. And we had previously had some wonderful diabetes programs when Beverly Hart was our outreach worker. She had a connection to the hospital. We had a monthly thing. I asked her if we could do this in conjunction with our blood pressure clinic. She asked her boss and they said yes. So just wanted to let you know that it's something we'd like to get started the first Tuesday of the month. We'll start with our first one in the blood pressure clinic. And then if it seems like it's gonna take off, we'll consider doing it maybe monthly, or if not monthly, every other month.
When are you planning your first one?
The first one's gonna be May 7th.
May 7th.
Okay, May 7th.
Correct, Salmon VNA.
He's the 7th. Did he come up with a time yet?
No, we talked about altering blood pressure, but I don't feel good about that. So we changing the time. We talked about doing blood pressure first and then doing the talk afterwards, like 11 to 12. I'd like to do the talk 10 to 11 and the blood pressure keep it 11 to 12. So it doesn't goof up anybody, because we have regulars that come to that blood pressure clinic. So I just have to get that approved by Nancy. It shouldn't be a problem because she's going to be coming anyway. So 10 o'clock would be the talk, and then regular blood pressure would be at 11.
Now, where do they go for that blood pressure? In other words, I know they're at the center, but is there some privacy somewhere?
What we do is our wall. We set up our
Okay.
wall like an L,
Partition, yeah.
our partition. Yep. And it's, for the most part, it works,
We need a bigger boat.
That's the same partition we use for, not fuel assistance, for podiatry.
Yeah.
It's just,
All right, but you know what? I think it's good. And one of the points that was made last night, I think it was by Mike, one of the Mikes, Mike Godin maybe, that for people who don't go to the center regularly and are not aware of the programs, it's good to show that this is why we need a bigger building. Because we're doing these programs and they require space. And in
right.
some cases, private space. Yeah, so
Even
we are
the
pushing that.
assistant position,
She could have her own office. I know that's really a travesty. I mean, I don't know how she even answers the phone, especially when the minstrels are singing.
Well, and I will tell you this, I gave her because Janet was off on Monday. I gave her the option of going upstairs because Laura used to do that regularly. I'd go up, the office is available, work on the newsletter, whatever you need to
Yeah.
do, but.
She needs some quiet
Yeah.
time too. Okay, Tri-Valley lunch update.
So just, our numbers are kind of waning, except we do have a good turnout for tomorrow. So I'm just debating what to do about it because, we've had health issues, people have gone into the hospital, they're in rehab, and we have transportation. So I haven't quite figured it out. When I started the program 16 years ago, we started it on Tuesdays. And after a year, we added Thursdays, and Ann was part of the original crew. We had really good turnout. Yeah.
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 Even when I first came on,
Right.
that was 14 years ago.
So we're just,
There's at least 3 tables.
we're just barely hitting.
It's the menu.
I think it's the menu. I mean, it's so meat-based. It's hot dogs and meatloaves and
I agree.
Swiss steak, whatever it is. I think especially for seniors, that there should be more healthy choices.
And I don't think any of the volunteers would disagree with you, like Donna Son as one of the Tuesday volunteers. And I think
For something like a different type of meal, Tri Valley, for people that are.
the other options we're given are, they're back to, I think they're back to their soup and cold sandwich, like, although we had it as not part of their special meals last week, but it was the ham salad was, you know how ham salad is usually very soft and palatable? This was cut up in chunks. And it was smoked ham. It wasn't, it was different. I didn't think, and then had potato salad. Exactly, but it wasn't. And then the potato salad, I've got to give them a list of things. The potatoes they were cubed, they weren't cooked fully, and so they're,
That explains it.
yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't keep showing up for that either.
When we get through the expansion stuff and see where the chips fall, on the vote. I wonder if we could have like a guest chef. It could be a normal person like me, and make like a lunch, because I think was it Melissa that did like a lasagna one
Yeah,
time?
she did lasagna and she did shepherd's pie. Very, very expensive though. Very,
Well, I know, but the idea is to make
Yep.
it, you
Yep.
want the people to come and enjoy.
Donna
the-
said the same thing. She'd be glad to cook a meal.
Yeah, she
Yep.
did say that.
yeah, Donna did say
And I
that.
would too.
And we did have Finest Gourmet. Remember Finest
Yes,
Gourmet?
we used to.
So she did several of our meals. She did veterans meal. She did volunteer appreciation. But she's, gone back to the corporate world. So, yeah, absolutely.
Good thoughts.
Absolutely. So, I mean, it's, I know, I want to say Hopedale, I think they only do the meal once a month, and I think they're selective. They pick what they want to pick, because there are some fan favorites. Their turkey meals are good. They had roast pork the other day. People really seem to enjoy that. But there are other ones that are just like, they're just, it's hit or miss, and
It'd be good if we could get some good meals, because with the cost of living and everything else for the fixed income seniors.
Yeah,
it'd be
you want them to be able to
you would think
enjoy
there'd be
what they're
coming
eating,
more,
especially if that's their main meal.
because that would be their main intention.
Are you thinking of cutting it back to one day?
I was thinking about that. I don't know what to do. I mean, we send out birthday certificates. Actually, we need to do more of those. And that's, Mary Ann Hopkins is still doing that, a former board member. And, so people come waltzing in. What we say is we send them a birthday certificate and say, come on in for a free meal. And they do come in. They do
And the
absolutely.
First meal is free also, if they've never
First meal is free
participate.
also. Yes.
got their first.
First
meal free.
meal is free also. So,
Tuesdays and Thursdays. How many people on the average?
we probably have like 18 to 20 for the corned beef and cabbage for the special meals. It's hard to say. It's hard to say.
Maybe we need to promote more again. Again, I guess go back to promoting things out better. Friends, people could talk in their meeting about it.
I think you just have to make it more palatable.
Yeah. Like for Earl's program, we had a good turnout for
Oh, yeah.
that.
We came for you, Earl.
Yeah. For that one, we had pasta meatballs and such, that was a really good turnout. So-
Excellent.
Tri Valley, how often can you have those special meals?
And the soup and that one, you know what? We haven't done that for a while. They have a potato bar, they have a hot dog bar, and they have a make your own soup bar, which I wasn't as impressed with as the potato bar was really cool. Very large, thank you for, very large baked potatoes. They have chili, they have chives, they have sour cream, everything cheese, that's a good point. We haven't done that for a while. Usually we have like a meeting to discuss, well, let's look at the menu this month, and we have to bring in something like that. That's a good point, Ann. But so it also brings in a point where in May, the minstrels are going to be coming.
Right.
And so what to do about that and the menu there? Do we want to do another potluck like we've done in the past? Potlucks are a lot of work, but they are well received. Give it some thought, because I've got to put it in the newsletter too,
Right.
what we're going to do for.
But you got, and I'm just being devil's advocate. Right now, you've got 12 minstrels singing and you got 3 musicians. So if you only have 35, you've already used half of it with just the entertainment, and then you've got the 3 or 4 people in the kitchen. So it's not opening up a big guest list. So for something that's in high demand, because we really don't
Oh, I
want
see
to
what
turn
you're saying.
people away.
Right, right. So would a potluck be in order or?
No, because you're saying a potluck is highly received, right?
Mhm.
You're thinking about some Tri-Valley food.
No, I'm not thinking,
No.
no, I'm trying to think of some kind of middle of the road thing. Because the thing about potluck is you got to set up, you got to keep the food warm or cold.
Yeah.
And, people are coming in with their hot dishes. The minstrels are trying to sing. The guy from ABMI is trying to record it.
Mhm.
People are walking, and once the food is put out and they're salivating, they're not listening to us anymore. It's like, finish up, wrap it up,
Mhm.
wrap it up.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk
Yeah,
about,
but maybe we can come up with something else.
yeah. I think we did last year. Last year, we didn't want to do the potluck for,
It is well received and everybody loves it. Everybody loves
It's
it.
a lot of work.
it is a lot of
I got
work.
my chicken, my casserole dish home dirty, but
Mhm.
you clean them all and,
Mhm.
I take. my
Somebody has to be
dirty
on
wash
that
them
committee.
down.
Mhm.
Somebody has to be on the cleanup committee.
Mhm. Okay, well, we'll
All right.
we'll revisit that.
We still have a little bit of time for that. Vacation schedules, yes.
So just want to let you know, Janet and I both have a lot of vacation time. So she's trying to take some Mondays off. She took last Monday off. Next Monday, she'll take a half day because we have a CPR training next week for those that didn't make it last time. And she was one of them. So, and then the following week, she'll take a Monday off. I'm going to try to I've talked to Earl and Peg. I'm going to try to take some Wednesdays off. We've got really good coverage down there on Wednesday and it's a little bit quieter. It's not as demanding with, lunches and transportation's not quite the same. So yeah, I want to take before the end of June. I want to get some time and I am also going to take not an entire week. My daughter's graduating from college on, and I apologize. Awards is on Friday, May 3rd and my daughter.
First of all, you can't even vote because you're not.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm sorry, but I
Daughter's
text me,
graduations.
text me. I mean, that to her is more important than, graduation's important, but
I know,
she's due for some awards. So,
it's good.
and yeah, the graduation's the next day. So I'm going to be in Maine planning a family, and friends get together for her and some of her, friends. That is, I'll probably be out like Wednesday, May 1st
Right,
and come back, maybe
On the
Tuesday, the 7th.
that's what I.
So I'll try to have our COA meeting posted before I go and
Janet's gonna take.
she's been taking some Mondays, yep,
Mondays.
and possibly some Thursdays. We're gonna alternate them. It's tough to, her husband works, and she did take one vacation not too long ago, but I did find, I don't know if I told many of you, I lost my summer rental because of the flooding in Maine.
Oh, no, I
Feel
didn't.
so bad for our landlady. We've been renting there for almost 10 years and she's probably about 80 years old. And the unit that we rent, which is a garden apartment, has been getting flooded the last couple of years. So she's decided not to rent it. So we've been finding places, then we lose them because Airbnb, it's a different animal. You sign up for it, you think you've got it, and then you lose it. You don't know, somebody else was on before you, And so my daughter finally found us a place in Old Orchard, right on the cusp of where we went. Yeah, so it'll be my August times, not exactly, but
Yeah.
close to it. So I did get that time.
We don't meet in August either. That's the
Yeah,
one
yeah.
we take off.
Yeah, yeah. So that's that. So we're going to try to use it. Unfortunately, our part-time staff doesn't, they don't have paid vacation time. Wayne does make sure, he's going to be taking a vacation in April to go to Las Vegas. But we're lucky that we have Sean. Sean is very happy to pick
We
up
have
his
Walter
hours.
in a pinch, right?
We have Walter in a
Walter in a
pinch.
pinch.
So Walter's taking the CPR class. Walter is
Yep.
going through all the same training. And I probably should just throw him into, one or two shifts here and there.
He's still driving the school kids, but there's school vacation week coming up and he probably won't drive.
Exactly,
that
school vacation, but also
when what's his name is probably gonna go on vacation to Vegas.
maybe, but he also can do some middle of the day runs. He obviously can't do the early runs because he's driving the school bus, but yeah, he's a good resource.
Right, well, that's good. That's good. $10 opportunity. Go ahead.
Yes, I was recently contacted by an 8th grader from a charter school in Franklin, and she is doing, I forget the name of it. It's a project. This is a serious project. For next year, she wants to engage our seniors into writing, back and forth between eighth graders and them. And, so I asked her, a series of questions. I found out who her advisor is. I told her I would come and talk to you folks. I've got to call into Cheryl. Cheryl unfortunately called me back during the Friends meeting the other day and we haven't connected yet. But, so we're thinking, that, one of our volunteers had asked about helping to start this pen pal program up.
Susan.
Yes, as did Susan. When we were looking for 60 seniors, now we'd be looking for about 25.
That's much more manageable.
And
one
so
person can handle that.
This young lady does not live in Mendon, however, has extremely fond memories of participating in programs at our library. When she was younger, she's made a lot of friends in Mendon. And so, and I'm not quite sure why, but I think maybe it's a manageable enough center that she called and asked about 25 people. So,
I think it's great.
yeah, I think it's great. 2 people have been clamoring for it. It'll be a different take. I did ask her about pen names. I said, and she wasn't going in
Eighth
for,
graders,
wasn't going in for the pen
not
names.
the fourth graders.
I know, but maybe what we do is first name and last initial or something still for privacy's sake.
So we'd be writing with students from Franklin?
It's a charter
So it
school.
could be-
It's a charter school, so they could be from anywhere, they could be from anywhere.
Benjamin Franklin.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Benjamin Franklin.
Thank you.
Benjamin Franklin Charter School.
I thank you because I remember I was thinking of Benjamin Franklin, the bank,
I have a granddaughter who will be in 8th grade there next year.
All right.
Did you know about this?
Sign up for
Pardon
pen
me?
pal.
Did you know about this?
Well, you mentioned it the other day
Mhm.
at the Friends meeting and I just chuckled because I thought, I would just make sure I wasn't her pen pal.
Right.
Yeah,
Because she's the kind of student that would love doing something like that.
yes.
And I won't tell her that I am because I don't think that would work. So we'll just keep it low key. When she goes to high school, I'll tell her.
She would,
Good
we
things.
would,
Get-
she has an
Good
advisor.
feedback from her as
She
to
has an advisor.
successful,
Talk about it.
how successful it is, and if she
We'll figure
thinks
that
anything
out.
should have changed.
Yeah, yeah.
Good program.
And I think we can come up with a 25 pretty
Yeah, and
easily.
Cheryl will be thrilled, I'm sure,
Yes.
because she's the one who contacted me originally, and you.
Yes, that's right.
All right, good. Open
Oh,
forum.
and that would
Oh.
start in September, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, of course. You
So
can't-
we'll start recruiting, we would start recruiting probably in June.
Well, once you hear back from Cheryl, you could put that in the newsletter
Mm-hmm. Yes.
and she can start a list already. Open forum. Earl, anything in open forum? This is my friend and neighbor.
We'll share
I'm good, I'm good.
And do you have anything for open forum? Neither do I. Can we call meeting adjourned at 11:08?
Wow.
Record time.
Good.
Thank you all again. Thank you. Thank you, Ann. I know how tough that is.
You know, now that you've been doing.
Oh, right, do I hate that job. I told them last night, I always put acting.
I know, you noticed that.